They're annoying, creepy, dangerous, sometimes disgusting, other times downright deadly. We're talking about the esoteric threat that is curses. At least, that's what they're supposed to be. They should be all of that, and more. But, for some reason, in D&D, curses, well, curses just plain suck. Let's talk about why. In our fantasy worlds, curses are supposed to be terrifying, right? But in practice, they often end up just being minor annoyances that are easily disposed of. Remove curse? Boom, problem solved. That's not exactly what you'd expect from something that's supposed to be ominous and game-changing. Curses should add depth and drama to your campaign, not just be a speed bump. They should also be something a little more than just, oh, it's a -1 cursed weapon. We shouldn't just fear that we're going to pick up a cursed item either. There are cursed places, cursed people. There are words of doom. Your character's actions could lead to a simple peasant uttering a curse, and for some reason, the gods hear them and strike that curse down upon you. Here today, the goal is to introduce what I think are better ways to handle curses. And we'll do that by splitting up curses into categories or tiers. I call them jinxes, hexes, banes, dooms, and calamities. These categories add layers of complexity to curses in your game, and they can even make for some really interesting story arcs. In the description below, you'll find a link to a document you can download that details an example of each one of these types of curses. Let's start with the simplest of curses, jinxes. Jinxes are the bad luck charms of curses. These are actually meant to be nothing more than annoyances and nuisances, and maybe add some comic relief to the game. These types of curses are commonly placed by trickster fairies or maybe minor ghosts that are angry, but they're not really powerful enough to do anything but lay a jinx upon you. As minor irritations, jinxes do things like make you clumsy, or maybe give you a stutter at just the wrong time, or perhaps when you're trying to be persuasive or intimidating, an errant gust of wind blows your hair at just the right angle to make you look utterly ridiculous. Curse of the Lost Path is the free jinx provided in the document below. This is a jinx that toys with the victim's sense of direction. Now, this can be aggravating, but when you're deep in the wilderness, this could be dangerous. Before we go much further, I think we need to discuss the elephant in the room, the Remove Curse spell. The Remove Curse spell is typically what's been used to get rid of curses in the past. Most curses, you cast the spell, it's gone. No problem. But in order to make curses a little more interesting and something that might require more of a role-playing aspect, we need to tame the beast that is Remove Curse. For jinxes, Remove Curse works normally. You can cast the spell, the jinx be gone. However, as we move up the list, as we move up the tiers, Remove Curse is going to have a lesser and lesser effect with each type of curse. With that, we'll move on to hexes. Now, hexes are more serious than jinxes and have a deeper impact. Maybe your character has clumps of hair that starts falling out, or their vision begins to blur, or even extreme cowardice. Hexes will have a much more meaningful and tangible effect on the character. It could include penalties or saving throws they have to roll in certain circumstances. Where jinxes might turn you into a bit of a clown in the eyes of others watching, hexes can actually impact their view of you in a more negative and even sometimes more sinister way. Remove Curse can only suppress a hex temporarily. The spell will suppress a hex for 1 hour per caster level. Beyond that, you're going to need much more powerful magic or find a way to lift the curse. This is where the role-playing aspects come in, and this is what I love about this particular curse system. Rather than just casting a spell to solve the problem, we can actually integrate it into the story, make it an adventure in and of itself. The more severe the curse, the more difficult it is to lift. The sample hex I prepared for you in the link below is called Curse of the Splintered Voice. This hex causes the character's voice to crack and break, giving them disadvantage on charisma checks involving speech. can also become a real problem for spellcasters. This curse could have come from a vengeful bard that you somehow insulted, and in order to lift the curse, you may have to go make amends with that bard. Or perhaps acquiring his woodwind instrument and playing a tune on it could also lift the curse. Up next, we have Banes. Now things are really starting to get serious. Banes are extremely dangerous, but most of them also come with intriguing twists, and sometimes even benefits. Banes can become a real struggle for the player, but not just in their consequences, but also weighing the potential benefits in risk and reward. Some Banes give you tremendous power, but it also comes with a tremendous cost. Other Banes will eventually kill you. Those you probably want to try to get rid of. The Remove Curse spell will suppress a Bane for 1 minute per caster level. So as you can see, it's getting progressively less and less that this spell will be helpful. The sample Bane included in the link below is called Curse of the Medusa's Wrath. This Bane allows you to petrify any living thing with your gaze. However, this ability does not stop. Anything you look at will be petrified. Any creature you look at will be turned to stone. And it doesn't stop there. Over time, this Bane will slowly turn you into stone as well. Stealing a precious item from a Medusa's lair, or the dying utterance of a Medusa that you've killed, might call this curse down upon you. Means of removing the Bane might include returning the stolen item and offering your services to that Medusa, or it could mean something as dangerous as meeting the Medusa's gaze and surviving the attempt. From Banes, we move on to Dooms. Now, Dooms are life-altering, game-changing, powerful curses. Dooms might inflict effects such as a hateful aura that incites hostility in everyone around you, so everywhere you go breaks out in violence. These curses can also turn you into something truly horrific, whereas lesser curses such as Banes and even some hexes, they may alter your appearance, they may alter you a little bit, they may give you a curse of lycanthropy, for example. Dooms can alter your very essence, your mind, your body, your soul, everything. They can transform, manipulate, bend, and twist, making you something otherworldly. Dooms are often brought on by a character's own greed, or their lust for power. Perhaps they made a pact with a demon lord for some kind of grandiose power. Or maybe they discovered an ancient ritual to turn themselves into a lich in order to live forever and learn ancient arcane secrets. But as we all know, great power often comes with a great price. In these cases, that might involve eternal servitude to the demon lord once your mortal body has decayed. Or perhaps you're forever physically bound to the ancient library that provided you the knowledge of lichdom. Dooms can easily end a character. However, they can also provide epic redemption arcs and open up opportunities for adventures that you wouldn't have even dreamed of before. As you might have guessed, Dooms are so powerful that the Remove Curse spell will only suppress them for 1 round per caster level, which sometimes is all you need to get across to a character whose mind has been lost in the Doom. In our example document from the link below, you will find Curse of the Soul Feaster. This Doom grants the recipient incredible dark power, but at the cost of having to consume souls of sentient beings every single day. A Doom like this could be caused by forming a pact with a demon lord, or it could be something a little less intentional, like stepping into a forbidden summoning circle that has been buried for thousands of years. In order to deny the soul feaster within, the character must journey to the home plane of the demon lord and find the artifact he uses to collect the souls that he devours and destroy it. This could be a very trying ordeal. Finally, we have calamities. Calamities are not just curses on one person or object, but calamities can infect entire kingdoms or even entire continents, sometimes the entire world. Calamities include plagues, mass hysteria, and widespread destruction, natural disasters, anything that can disrupt or endanger a large area or a large group of people. Sometimes calamities are triggered by the players, sometimes they're triggered by NPCs or the actions of a child, for instance. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong discovery. But one thing you can count on is that calamities will spice up your game in an instant. Imagine your players racing against time to try to find a way to stop a endless shower of lightning that's destroying the entire countryside. The stakes don't get much higher than that. Remove Curse does absolutely nothing when it comes to calamities. Our sample calamity included below is called the Calamity of the Ruptured Veil. In this scenario, the curse has weakened the barrier between planes, causing rifts that allow dangerous creatures to invade the world. Now, this could be as simple as a city-wide scale or an entire continent. Does the party stay to fend off these creatures and defend the city, defend its people, or do they go on a quest to find the cause and solution and end the calamity altogether? Calamity of the Ruptured Veil is often caused by something like an Archmage's failed experiment. In order to lift the curse, the characters will need to hunt down rare components that will allow them to perform a series of complex rituals that could close the rifts. But what if the Archmage who performed the initial rituals was destroyed in the process, and it's now up to the characters, a magic user within the group, or a magic user they must bring into the situation? A spellcaster who is by no means an Archmage, much less experienced, and now put in a situation where they must perform these extreme rituals in order to end this calamity. So instead of just handing out a cursed sword, use curses to drive your story forward. A jinx could be the beginning of a larger mystery. A hex could tie into a character's backstory somehow. Banes and dooms can create challenges and even evolve into quests and arcs that can really test your players' creativity. Calamities can serve as epic plot devices and change the landscape of your world forever, for good or ill. So let's rethink how we use curses in D&D and in all games, and we can transform them from frustrating hindrances into compelling aspects of the game. If you found any of this useful, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe, because there's more coming, lots more. Stay tuned. So until next time, may the dice forever roll in your favor.